So something that I get asked a lot, and I've asked myself before, is what is a tenant in common structure, or what is it?
So a lot of people abbreviate tenant in common as a TIC. And so if somebody's talking about a TIC and you don't understand what it is, it's kind of frustrating. But a tenant in common is, it's a way to hold title to land. So like a lot of times if you have a husband and wife, they hold the land as joint tenants, and that gives you different rights if you pass away and somebody else takes up your interest. And so joint tenants, it automatically reverts to the other joint tenant. In tenants in common, it's essentially understood in the law that it's not really a related party that holds the land together.
Yeah.
And so the law defaults to keeping the interests in land separate if there's a change out in who has inherited the property. And so that's a long sort of legal explanation. What you need to know from a perspective in investing is that most of the time the law defaults to a partnership. And so a lot of like syndicated deals are set up as a type of a partnership, and there's different rights among the partners to do different things. In a tenant in common structure, the tenants all have a right to the profits on the land. They have an obligation to pay expenses, and they have a right to partition the land, which means to divide it up. So if you and I held a piece of property as tenants in common, I could go and say one day we got in a terrible fight, which wouldn't really happen, but say we got into a terrible fight so bad that I wanted to only run my piece of property. I could go to the judge and say, look, judge, we're not getting along. Let's divide this land in half, and you can take 50% of it and I'll take 50% of it, and then we can just go about our way controlling our 50% piece of land. So it works well in an investment structure where people trust each other. It makes it really difficult if you're doing multifamily investments.
I was just gonna say, if you split the building in half with a saw,
if you're doing a multifamily project, the judge probably would not want to carve out a couple of units to give a tenant in common in order to divide that interest. So it's more common to use a partnership structure.
Mm-hmm.
However, your attorneys are able to actually change back and forth between a tenant in common structure and a partnership. So if you're in a partnership, you can convert to a tenant in common structure as long as everybody agrees, and vice versa. So that's the long version of what a TIC structure is.
Thank you guys for tuning in.